Good afternoon and welcome to the Return Homestead. My name is Mike and my wife Marty and I homestead 50 acres in southeastern Kentucky. Today is kind of a milestone for us. Yesterday we hit the halfway mark towards being monetized on YouTube. It was a pretty exciting day with a lot of new subscribers. Not really sure what happened with that video, that everybody enjoyed it, but we do appreciate everyone who subscribed. And anyone who was hitting that thumbs up button and promoting it, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Today we thought we would honor this by continuing where we left off. So we're going to be making a video cleaning out the chicken coops, which is exactly what we were doing on our very first video back on May 1st. The last time we cleaned the coops out, all of the manure that we took out of the bottom with the bedding material went around our apple trees. That has done well. It is settled into the ground. It's composted very nicely. I think today we're going to use this compost, or at least this manure right now. We're going to use it around the blueberries. Now, a good bit of this is already well dried out and well composted. But the blueberries are played out for the year, so we're not expecting to see any more berries. They're going to be going dormant here shortly, so we're not worried about burning them with hot manure. They should be fine for the winter, and this will all be well composted by the time spring gets here. This stack of nesting boxes is still the chicken's favorite. We put out a video a few months ago where we tried to build some new nesting boxes for the other coop, and we waited to build some for this coop. We wanted to see how well those boxes were used. Chickens don't seem to like them very much, so we're going to have to make some modifications. We've already got some ideas on that, just don't have time to implement them right now. Today, it's all about getting this cleaned out. Back on May 1st, we were using the four-wheeler and trailer to move this stuff around. But we don't need to move it quite as far this time because the blueberries are right here on top of the hill. So we're just going to use a wheelbarrow. Yes, a larger wheelbarrow or gorilla cart would make this easier. Sometimes you use what you got. Take this down and get it on the blueberries. Well, that's one coop down. I am sorry about the dead chicken in the middle of that cleanup. The reality is if you have livestock, you're going to have dead stock. I'd also just remind you that if you're feeling pressured to get something done on the homestead, that's usually God's way of trying to tell you there's something you need to pay attention to. That chicken that was stuck in behind the nesting boxes hadn't been there that long. So she hadn't been dead for very long. It didn't make a mess in the coop. That coop is extremely dry because of the ventilation we put in it, but also because we keep it bedded with the pine shavings, which are exceptionally dry and absorb moisture very well. It's just one of those unfortunate things that happens on the homestead. But we got that coop done and we've got one more to do. Let's have a look at these blueberries. Really couldn't say we got more than a sampling of blueberries off of these plants this year. Part of the problem is our soil conditions. So I built these swales to try to hold moisture on the hillside, and the moisture does run back into the back of the swale like it's supposed to. But this is a very silty clay and rock, and the water soaks right into the clay, disappears into the rocks, and continues to run downhill. So I'm hopeful that all of this chicken manure piled up around the blueberries and this beautiful raspberry at the end will help to hold some of that moisture in. It'll fertilize the plants, and it also gives us a place to get rid of the stuff from the chicken coop. So this is a threefold project. And on that very first day, that's kind of the message I was trying to convey, was that nothing on the homestead is a singular project. Everything is tied to everything else. So we're not just cleaning out the coops, we're also tidying up our blueberry beds, as well as getting them fertilizer and working on some moisture control for them. It all works together. And just like that, we have a cleaned out coop ready for chickens to return to it. There's no reason to spread the bedding out. The chickens will take care of that just fine on their own. To make sure we don't wind up with any more trapped chickens that die, put a chicken wire cage over the top of this nesting box to keep them from getting on top of it. We've added an additional milk crate nesting box just because they seem to tend to back up, especially if we've got a broody hen stuck in this bottom nest. So that'll take care of this coop. We've also reinserted our wall in between the two runs. That's going to allow us to separate some of these chickens that are missing a bunch of feathers on their back and allow them to get some feathers put back on before winter time. So we'll get them away from the roosters, remove that pressure, and give them a bit of a rest. We still have one coop to clean out and one bed of blueberries that we need to get fertilizer on. But as you can see, the storm is starting to close in all around us. So we're gonna have to set the camera aside and move extra fast to get this done. Marty and I were absolutely thrilled to see us get past that halfway point towards being monetized. It's been just over 4 months since we started making videos, and that's just an exciting place to be in such a short amount of time. And we know that a large portion of that is you guys. You've been watching the videos. If you're hitting that thumbs up button, thank you so much. That really does promote the videos heavily and allows us to get the channel spread out to more people. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do go ahead and subscribe. We're getting really excited about getting to that monetization point, and you can help us out by subscribing. For tonight, we're gonna have to call it an evening. I've got a lot more work to do, and we got to make it really quick before this rain gets here. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.